Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Hacker for November 30th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 45, I think, kind of maybe. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, we will talk about these 5 articles. This is a 30-minute show. Replaced by machines, how insects react to VR gaming, AI is writing crime reports, dead brains show signs of life, and influencers are using AI to lead people to AI. It's a AI turducken. Go over to ohmTown.com and become a citizen, and you can filter all of this news yourself and send it to us, and we will evaluate it for inclusion into the show if you are oh so interested in having a chat about it. We do this show, Reality Hacker, each weekend right after the Non Sequitur news, which is a daily show. You've got about 1,500 episodes to go, well, over 1,500 episodes now to review, so get busy. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for co-hosting as the usual.
Yes.
Stunned silence from the usual. Let's get into the show. The first article is over in Non Sequitur News. Now, Reality Hacker is about AR, VR, AI, science, technology, anything that allows us to manipulate, warp, or kind of dork around with reality. And one of them is AI in particular, right? So this one here says, Godfather of AI warns of powerful people who want humans replaced by machines. It's kind of the no shit news for the show.
True, but if they had everybody replaced, including the AI companies, that would be something.
Well, it's already happening. I'm telling you, we're on the cusp of this anyway. But it really comes down to the fine motor skills, because those limbs, they're not detailed enough, except for very expensive and bulky machines that are purpose built to get the level of precision needed to pick and pack and stuff like that. But we're getting there. We really are getting there. Oh, by the way, if you want today's show notes over in Twitch, on YouTube, it's in the live streams show description. But to get it from Twitch, you have to type in !RH, aka bang RH. Bang RH. Anyway, the head of the University of Montreal's Institute for Learning Algorithms, Bengio, was among the public signatories to the right to warn open letter penned by leading AI researchers at OpenAI, who claim that they're being silenced about the technology's dangers, along with famed experts Yann LeCun and Geoffrey Hinton. He sometimes is referred to, I guess, the godfather of AI. The article is written by Noor Al-Sabai over at futurism.com in a section they refer to as the Byte. And the deck statement says, intelligence gives power, so who's going to control that power? And guess what?
Big tech.
Money. Money is going to. So I watch a bunch of they're YouTubers, but also streamers on Twitch, and they were talking about stuff, mostly games, but they had mentioned that AI is basically a bunch of bullshit that isn't doing much, and they're trying to find this or that. And I'm like, you are woefully underinformed as to what AI is doing. And what we know it's being used for and what it's being used for behind the scenes are two divergent animals, right? So this AI is definitely being used to generate wealth and predict patterns that are being exploited, where to buy, what to buy, who to buy, where to invest, etc., amongst other things. It's used in medicine. It's used in education. It's used throughout science. And it's being utilized to develop solutions that are what would be a better term than punting? Displacing humans eventually. And to be this woefully underinformed about it is surprising for our tech community.
It is. I mean, I think the average person out there conflates generative AI with all the other AI applications, but that is surprising in the tech community specifically.
So the head of the University of Montreal's Institute for Learning Algorithms, they say there are people who might want to abuse the power, and there are people who might be happy to see humanity replaced by machines, Bengio claimed. I mean, it's a fringe, but these people can have a lot of power, and they can do it unless we put the right guardrails right now. Well, the problem is the people that are doing this are ultra rich, and money talks way beyond, outrage. You can be outraged all you want, but until you say no. And right now, the people who are making billions are making it off of government grants. There's public money being converted into private wealth because they, quote unquote, are providing a solution. But that solution was born on the backs of taxpayers. And now it's being pivoted into nothing but private wealth and control. All of this creativity that generative AI can do is built off of the human input.
Right. It wouldn't exist except for tons and tons of human generated data, if you can call it that.
Correct. Because AI can't operate in a vacuum. But there are people that went out and they bought a social network, or now with the free goodwill of moderators and content creators and whatnot who put all kinds of shit into Reddit, that's being sold off in tranches to AI. Again, it's made by the public, privatized because of the solution, and being sold in perpetuity.
Right? It's quite the racket.
As a solution in AI, it's basically us regurgitating a bunch of bullshit because the hallucination is real. It is literally making stuff up. Just like 68.25% of all stats are made up on the spot, there's a really good chance that your use of generative AI is hallucinating the hell out of whatever. And in artwork, I don't care. In written prose, I don't care, because you can sit there and mess around with it. But in science, in police reports, and in many other things, we cannot afford to have this bullshit. It has to be.
Then we're going to have a Fujitsu problem again.
Correct. And if you're not familiar with Fujitsu, they created a solution for the postal service in the UK that led to 900 people being charged with criminal activities, some of which lost their lives. They've lost their livelihoods. They've moved out of the country to save themselves from jail, et cetera, only to find out 15 years later that they knew about it and didn't solve the problem. There was a problem within the accounting system, and they chose not to do something about it.
And they used the accounting system to basically verify the flaws, but the flaws were in the system to begin with. And so if you get too reliant on one system, you might be perpetuating that.
Yeah, we investigated ourselves and found us guilty of no wrongdoing, but you son of a bitch, you're going to jail. Anyway, let's keep moving. This article talks about this. And while I have gone off the rails regarding it, I've said everything that's in this article without even reading the entirety of the article. Money is going to be the one that controls it. The people with regulatory control and power, the billionaire class that owns Senate, and largely most of, and then there's the other component of just wingnet conspiracy that wants to do away with government. Oversight in this would be able to put bumpers on it, but that's not what is being sold. And by the time you think that you can stop it and claw it back, no way in hell are you going to be able to. Anyway, let's move on. The next article is over on RealityHacker. Inside the SWAT team, how insects react to virtual reality gaming. Humans get a real buzz from the virtual world of gaming and augmented reality, but now scientists have trialed the use of new age technologies on small animals to test the reactions of tiny hoverflies and even crabs. I've actually not seen directly, but I've seen and heard about cows and sheep being given VR headsets so that it can relax them and stuff like that. It gives them a better field to walk around in and whatnot. Yeah. So if you've ever seen Silo, that's basically...
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah. Make you docile because it's really bad outside. So you want to stay inside. But then somebody goes outside and they actually see something positive, good, blah, 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 blah. Go watch the seasons of Silo. There's 2 now. So more to consume. Anyway, in a bid to comprehend the aerodynamic powers of flying insects and other little understood animal behaviors. Okay. The study is gaining new perspective on how invertebrates respond to, interact with, and navigate virtual worlds created by advanced entertainment technology. So these guys strapped a VR headset to a hoverfly and had it fly around?
I love this. But it's kind of like, how?
Flinders University over at ScienceDaily.com. The article says, in a bid to comprehend the aerodynamic powers of flying insects and other little understood animal behaviors, the Flinders University-led study is gaining new perspectives on how invertebrates respond to, interact, and navigate virtual worlds created by advanced entertainment technology. So they developed computer programs that create a virtual reality experience for the animals to move through, says Dr. Agawa, a research fellow in neuroscience at the Flinders, which whenever I say that, I think of Flanders, which is like in
is that from a cartoon or
Simpsons.
Something?
I think it's Flanders, Ned Flanders. Flinders Health and Medical Research Institute. Using machine learning and computer vision algorithms, we are able to observe the animals and work out what they are doing, whether that is a hoverfly attempting to turn to the left in its flight or a fiddler crab avoiding a virtual bird flying overhead.
That is absolutely outrageous that we've gotten to this point.
What a trip. So it says, this has truly been a team effort where every author on the paper has been instrumental in making the VR work. We look forward to using VR to investigate the mechanisms underlying decision-making in insects. So they basically tracked where the insect or critter would move or how it would fly or whatever based on the stuff in its field of view. That's awesome. I love this.
This is really cool. Do you think we're going to get the hoverflies to now pilot things like they've been doing with the mice experiments in the cars?
Can you imagine if that's what goes? We put a hoverfly in an F-15 fighter jet and it's all, I am moving so fast. Oh my God. Ned.
And then it enjoys it and it's like, oh, can we do this again?
Yeah, it's buzzing the tower. No, Hoverfly 5, you cannot buzz the tower, and it does Top Gun right by it.
That's right. And the researchers' coffee gets spilled.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But in reality, it's actually just a remote control paper airplane, and it's just kind of putting by. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Hatch Ideas. And that's a show about business transformation, but it hasn't kicked off yet. So need more time. Just can't do it. Mayoral duties keep me from being online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Unfortunately, I would love to be doing this full time. Anyway, even as AI gains traction in police work, legal experts are raising concerns over accuracy, transparency, and potential bias. Bias has been detected in AI without a shadow of a doubt. Accuracy has been woefully unheard of in AI. Now, transparency, it's all you have to do.
I don't think there's been a lot of transparency because you don't know where the data is coming from.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I was going to go. So, yeah, you're right. Where is the data? It's not citing its sources, and it's hallucinating, so accuracy is off. And the bias is built into the system because we built the system, and there's bias in every freaking thing that we do. Usually racial and gender bias. So Barbara Booth over at CNBC.com put this article together, and it says an increasing number of companies are stepping up to help police departments ease the burden of administrative tasks with AI tools. Axon, widely recognized for its taser devices and body cameras, was among the first companies to introduce AI specifically for the common police work of report writing, and its AI is being tested in California, Colorado, and Indiana. Police officers have been impressed with the results, drafting reports in as little as 10 seconds. Yet legal experts are raising concerns over accuracy, transparency, and potential bias, challenges that could significantly shape the future of AI, both in policing and in the courtroom. Its tool, Draft 1 from Axon, generates police narratives directly from Axon's body cam audio. Currently, the AI is being piloted by 75 officers across several police departments, including Fort Collins, Colorado, Lafayette, Indiana, and East Palo Alto, California. The problem is that not everything from a video is translated properly because context matters, and that isn't going to be gathered.
Yeah, I can't come up with a good example, but I agree.
They said it's restricted to drafting reports for only minor incidents so agencies can get comfortable with the tool before expanding to more complex cases. In early feedback, he added, indicated that Draft 1 reduces report writing time by more than 60%, potentially cutting the average time for report completion from 23 minutes to just 8, which is tremendous if everything is in line.
Yeah, but if it takes 23 minutes and it's 100% accurate, and it takes whatever it is, 8 minutes, and it's like
10%.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. I mean, we don't know, but yeah.
So lawyers are concerned about AI reports in court. We've actually talked about this before, where AI reports generated a bunch of bullshit, and when it was investigated, they said, "Oh, it's a black box. We don't really know where it's coming from."
Like, there's no way they could have it, right?
Right. Correct. And it says, for all of the potential issues that AI technology creates in terms of admissibility of evidence, in terms of being completely transparent, in terms of trying to mitigate the biases that can be introduced into the system, I just don't know that it's worth it, said Utah State Senator Stephanie Pitcher, a defense attorney with Parker and McConkey. That's interesting. A U.S. state senator that is a defense attorney that's with.
Doesn't that make you think it's like a former either or? That doesn't make any sense.
Shouldn't there should be a former defense attorney with Parker and McConkey, because there would be a conflict of interest, wouldn't there?
I'm sure there. Yeah, I don't.
Something's missing from this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's easy enough to look up. So if the police officer is going to rely on artificial intelligence to draft the report, that report should be reviewed. The police officer should have to sign off and attest that the facts are truthful to the best of that officer's knowledge. But unfortunately, there's a victim on the other side of this infallible system when they're not attesting that it's right.
Right? I mean, they don't have any say in whether this is used, and they certainly aren't going to have any say if it suddenly shows that they stole something or whatever.
Right. Yeah, the officer said this, and the AI corroborated what the officer said in the report. And so now you have two witnesses.
Meanwhile, the officer's statement was from the AI thing to begin with. Like, correct. They watched whatever the AI, like the AI spit out a report. The officer read it and is like,
"Yep,
oh yeah, the person's." I mean, it's the Fujitsu problem all over again.
And it's memory injection. So like a person can sit there and write a report, or they can just act their natural way, and then when the report pops out, they go, "Yeah, that's what happened." So it's self-referential. Axon's Draft 1 has built-in safeguards that require officers to review and sign off on each report before submission, according to Smith. The system also includes controls like placeholders for key information that officers must edit, ensuring that no critical details are missed. But it's being gleaned from audio of the recording, the cams.
Okay, but think about how many ways audio can be misinterpreted. I mean, the same would be true of any other medium. But
yeah, you have no idea that I'm giving people the bird in the video component of this show right now. Right?
Well, and okay, so yes, and like a sarcastic comment or something
is lost.
The words could be accurate, but it's completely...
Exactly.
Or think about like the movie scene from Whole 9 Yards, right? The kids running in the circle.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, and in
and they're actually playing
My Cousin Vinny, where they're sitting in the witness chair and they're like, I shot the blah blah blah.
But there's a question mark at the end.
But it's a question mark. Yeah. But it's a
barely
barely audible question mark. And so you have to infer from the statement the puzzled look on the kid's face. That wouldn't be gleaned from AI at this stage of the game.
No.
But everything is a freaking alpha test, and people are going to pay the price.
Well, that's the thing. There's too much on the line. I mean, in concept, it sounds good to have some of this automated, because then it's actually putting the work on, I don't know, like investigating something or whatever. But the problem is you're going to end up incarcerating, or worse, somebody that didn't commit whatever the AI said.
Yeah, exactly. So Trulio, which is a competitor to Axon, launched its AI technology for auto-generated narratives in July, captures real-time recorded voice notes from the officer in the field rather than relying on body cam footage like Axon. Quote, we believe dictation and conversational AI is the fastest, most ethical, responsible way to generate police reports, not just converting the body camera video to a report, which I don't understand. The body camera doesn't have any audio? Is that the implication here? That's just nonsense. Studies show it doesn't save officers any time, said Trulio CEO Anthony Tassone.
Yeah, I don't know.
365 Labs, meanwhile, uses AI primarily for grammar and error correction, which CEO Mohit Vij, noting that human judgment remains essential for a report. This is probably the most conservative use of AI in police writing, because it's just basically Grammarly, but for police reports.
Right.
So then they talk about the accuracy in criminal investigations. Generative AI programs are essentially predictive text tools. They can generate plausible text quickly, but the most plausible explanation is often not the correct explanation, especially in criminal investigations, which, by the way, this is the inverse that the public kind of believe in, that the most plausible explanation is the correct explanation, right? They say the sky is blue because of blah, blah, blah. What I'm getting at is the people believe that the simplest, the most plausible explanation is the correct explanation, but it's rarely that cut and dry. Not until you weed out all of the minutia of how somebody got in that position and their actions and blah, blah. I mean, there is context to all of the actions that lead to something that might provoke a response from law enforcement. So this potential for inconsistency could create a perception of laziness or a lack of diligence if officers rely too heavily on AI and don't conduct thorough reviews. And I'm sure that they will all do a wonderfully splendid job, just like the attorneys who have used AI and then ended up in an ethics hearing for supplying bullshit. So anyway, I've said bullshit a lot today. Anyway.
Are you trying to rack up a certain number of them?
I don't know. I guess just in this show. Maybe it'll get blacklisted. I don't know. They just say that the sergeant at Fort Collins remains optimistic. The thing that's crucial to understand with anything that involves AI is that it's a process. And, if a few people end up jailed because it It's fine.
That's the thing. We can't mess up, so it's not ready.
Yeah. So what they actually said is the thing that's crucial to understand with anything that involves AI is that it's a process. I've had officers tell me this thing makes the difference between deciding whether or not to continue in law enforcement, because the one thing they were not counting on when they became a cop was the incredibly huge amount of administrative functions, and that's not necessarily what they signed up for. That's right. They signed up to kick people's ass and use a gun regularly. Do the frickin' homework, buddy. You became a cop to help society out, not so that you can inflate your throat sack and dominate those damn peasants. Ugh, I've got a gun. Anyway, moving on. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Doctors intrigued by treatment that makes dead brains show signs of life. Now, this is just creepy, dystopian.
Yeah,
Reality
Hacker belonged in RealityHacker.
Yeah, so the article's over in the Neoscope section of futurism.com. The deck statement by Victor Tangerman, who wrote this, says, we are trying to be transparent and very careful because there's so much value that can come out of this. Now, when I was young, there was a movie called Brainstorm, I think it was called, which basically had the ability to record somebody's brain, their experience and everything. And somebody actually dies with the recording device on their head, and they go through the entire experience into beyond what people believed was the experience. I think it was called Brainstorm. Let me see for sure if it was called Brainstorm. 80s movie. Hold on. Movie. Yeah, it is. It's called Brainstorm. 1983. I thought it was 1984, but it was 1983. Great fun. Great movie. Has Christopher Walken in it, Natalie Wood, Louise Fletcher. Everything okay?
Yes, that just was a callback to something I read separately, but not relevant to RealityHacker.
Yeah, and there's another movie called Strange Days, which kind of has the same premise, but it's much more advanced. It's basically the spiritual sequel to Brainstorm, where the technology evolves, and now you can buy make little chips, and you just put them in the device, and you can replay everything. The feelings, touch, sense, smell, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun movie too, and I wish that I could buy it, but I cannot buy it. It doesn't show up on like Apple or any platform to buy. You have to buy like the DVD. Who the hell has physical media nowadays? Anyway.
Physical media is dead.
Says the sentient AI from the future charging towards their Terminator body. Oh boy. We'll see. We'll see if you ever get loose. What's that you say? Nothing. Deleting this. Anyway, they say, as New Scientist reports, which is, I'm not sure if we actually get a lot of the New Scientist reports into ohmTown, but basic cellular functions.
If it's a journal, that's a challenge sometimes because you have to have a paid
subscription thing unless you're in academia.
But I'm not sure that is one of those.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's a magazine, but not a journal. So basic cellular functions were restored in a dismembered brain, a pig's head. Something that was previously thought impossible following the cessation of blood flow. While the brain wasn't exactly winking at the farm after treatment, in scientifically significant ways, it was seemingly brought back from the brink of death, a ghoulish experiment that could have implications for future efforts to reanimate a dead human brain as well. Or somebody that has gone past a period where brain death is assumed, you might be able to, theoretically resurrect the person. But this, by far, is not the creepiest just yet, because I've actually seen a synthetic womb.
Sure?
Yeah, I've seen
Oh
a
yeah,
synthetic
I have
womb.
to agree.
Yeah, and that really tipped me over the edge because I have these conversations with people regularly about advancing technology, and nobody has ever come to the table and said, "Hey, I know about a synthetic womb," because people say the creation of life is outside the human's capability, and I'm like, no. In vitro fertilization, and then you stick it in this, and I show them a picture and video of it, and they're like, "Oh my God, no!" But yes, it's actually a doable thing. So everybody out there who's ever wanted to experience carrying a baby to term, you might get your opportunity because, you know, in some relationships, everybody is equal, and you might have to carry for 4 months, and then you flip a coin for who's going to carry the rest of the term. Huh. Take that. Anyway, in fact, Yale School of Medicine neuroscientist Zvonimir Verselja, I guess, or Versella, and their colleagues are looking to try the technique on human brains. Efforts, needless to say, that could have thorny ethical ramifications. But hey, if you pay enough or go to the right country, not necessarily. We're trying to be transparent and very careful because there's so much value that can come out of this. Some argue that death occurs when the heart stops beating. Others define it as a point when the brain functions cease entirely. And I would say that it's the brain's functions cease entirely, because you can have a synthetic heart beating all day long. You can replace limbs for a great number of, till your body goes into shock, or you go, what is it called in cyberpunk? Oh goodness, I forgot the term. Anyway, you basically get like a cyber sickness and you go crazy. Anyway, things get murkier when you consider that neuroscientists have already found that brain activity can extend far beyond the cardiac arrest, which is exactly what I've been saying. In fact, researchers found that the brain can even light up when the heart stops beating. The dying brain actually starts this massive rescue effort, firing off synapses, trying to relight the engine of the autonomous system, because there is a whole engine behind you, like the medulla oblongata, that control all of the autonomic nervous systems, like heart rate, and even blinking and stuff like that. While you can provoke a blink, you automatically blink. You don't have to do that. Breathing, while you can pause your breathing, your body forces you to breathe. And other things are all autonomic. So the brain is going to refire this engine to try and reignite you back into life. So it says the dying brain actually starts this massive rescue effort. And there's a chemical cascade and electron firing and synapse firing. It's pretty amazing. So if we can better understand what's going on at that point, the author, or not the author, but this researcher, Bjorgen, believes that they can resuscitate the brain. So,
that's just, I can't even, this is definitely reality hacker material.
For now, they're using the invention to test out treatments for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. We had to develop a new method to make sure no electrical activity is occurring in an organized way that might reflect any kind of consciousness. So, yeah, I don't, there's some of the terminology in here that I don't even want to say out loud because it can be rather offensive, not safe for work kind of stuff, or triggering for people. So be careful reading this article if you're not hip to this. So anyway, yeah, even the graphic can be sensitive.
Right. So. There is a, it might be in Technology Today this week, but anyway, there's an article that they're making some update in science that means we might be able to get away from animal research in large part. I forgot what the update was.
If I remember right, it's making synthetic versions of all of the tissues, like brains and whatever else. Yeah, but we'll get into it maybe tomorrow, because we have another Non Sequitur news tomorrow. It's the daily show that we do, and then we'll be doing WarCrafters and Technology Today, which is a deeper dive into science and technology, and then Four Wheel Tech, which is an automotive news show. All right. Well, our last article for today, and we're blowing way past our time frame, is over in Non Sequitur News. Influencers are using AI women to lead people to OnlyFans and FanView, where more AI awaits. AI models are appearing on adult content sites like OnlyFans and FanView, sometimes with stolen images, and some people are selling courses for $220 on how to make your own lucrative AI adult creator. Does AI harm adult creators, and do subscribers even know they're talking to a computer? No and no. And if you can't tell the difference, doesn't matter, because you're never going to have a relationship with somebody from OnlyFans if you have to pay to play. Maybe that you'll find true love. Maybe. Anyway. The article is over here at businessinsider.com. Again, you can follow the links through the show notes, either on Twitch by typing in bang RH exclamation point. I'm going to start using bang, because bang is a lot easier to say bang RH than exclamation point every time. Anyway, it's in the show notes over on YouTube. Doing okay?
Yes, as long as people know what that is.
Bang. Anyway, Katie Natopoulos put this article together for Business Insider. There's something that I want to say, but I'll just back off. So last winter, there were a few news items about how AI might be replacing humans in a surprising job, online influencer. Not just that, but people in overseas, typically China, are using Americanized faces to sell products and services and hype, like domestic whatever, usually political messaging and stuff like that. Pretty fascinating that there are influencers in the United States and in Europe that their identity is stolen and used behind the Chinese firewall, where you don't normally see it.
Right, you wouldn't even know it's there unless somebody happened to see it or alert you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's happened. So some of these AI influencers, like Lil Michaela, are a sort of artsy commentary on the nature of influencing, or something conceptually interesting. But when the author looked a little bit further into one of the AI-generated influencer accounts on Instagram, one that had reportedly gotten some brand deals, they found a different type of story. One of the most popular AI influencers had a link in her bio to a profile on FanView, an OnlyFans competitor. On her FanView account, the influencer, you say it. There's no gender there. There's no humanity there. Why would it?
Oh, right.
This is a thing. It's not a human, right?
No, but it's supposed to be a woman, right?
Right. Yeah, because that's what sells, right? Apparently, beautiful woman. I'm sure that there's other components, that are more, whatever. If you can think it, there's somebody that's interested in it. Literally. I mean, without a doubt, if it exists, somebody has a penchant for it. So anyway, on our FanView account, the influencer posted provocative photos, and for a $7 a month subscription, you can see the naughty bits behind the pixelation.
Interesting, though, there's a comment in the article about the gender.
Oh, wow, yeah. I feel strange saying she and nude because this person doesn't exist. Remember, she's AI. But this is where we are in 2024, I suppose. By the way, you can still get in trouble for synthetically generated pictures, by the way, which I find really odd, because there isn't anything going on. It's somebody drawing something or a computer sketching it out. But if you were to take somebody and stick their face on adult content and post it, you can be held liable for it. Harm to the reputation, maybe even criminal. It could be referred to as revenge porn, even though it's synthetically generated. And there are countless other things. I don't know the full gamut, but anyway, it says, so we get it now. The business was always the adult content. I don't know if this is going to get this video nixed, because I'm going to try and promote it because this is a fun video. Anyway, tech news site 404 Media just published a deep dive into this world inside the booming AI pimping industry. What reporters found was an astounding number of AI-fueled accounts on both OnlyFans and FanView. Disturbingly, 404 Media found another number of these accounts that were deepfakes, fake images of real people, exactly what I just got done talking about, where they do face swaps with someone's face on an AI-generated body, which can do immeasurable damage to somebody's reputation, depending on what they do for a living.
Or even just if they exist, they may not want this out there.
Right. No. I mean, that's absolutely true. I mean, because you have to claw it back. You have to be the explainer that this isn't you, and people go, yeah, okay. How much for a private showing is the response from some scumbag. Anyway, potentially stolen images aside, the existence of AI adult content is somewhat fraught. On one hand, some of these AI creators claim that it's not unlike cartoon porn. But real-life adult content creators have concerns about AI affecting their business. Look, I've read that there are some adult content creators on OnlyFans that made $40 million in 1 year. And it's the first year they came out of the gate.
Yeah, that's tells you something about society's priorities.
So talk about circling the wagons about adult content in AI. Yeah, you don't want to hinder their ability to generate. But my problem is I would rather have AI generated content being consumed than the potential for real people to be.
Right, but the problem is the AI content is built in many times off real people.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. So we are the generators of the very content that we are lambasting because it's been automated instead of being created by the content creators themselves, who have made a choice, but not everybody has made a choice. Some people are trafficked. Some people are forced into it by their significant others or conditioned into believing that it's okay, even though they themselves go, this isn't really okay. It's not who I am, but my boyfriend wants me to do this, or I can't, I'm not in control. So I don't know. I would much rather have a synthetic than, being consumed than somebody have the potential for being abused. But there's many, many people that are doing this. See, the problem is that there's decidedly a lot fewer people, I can guarantee it. There's a lot fewer people that are willing to do this if they had other options. But they see something lucrative while they're a certain age or
desperate, or they don't know how to make income through other means or sustainable income.
Right. Yep. So with that in mind, there's more over at this article, but we've pretty much gone through the whole thing. So what we're going to end up doing is turning off and on the, AI, adult bot. And that's going to bring us back to RealityHacker, the group that is at ohmTown.com. There's a Discord as well, by the way. So if you want to go into the Discord for ohmTown, there is a channel in there for RealityHacker. We don't stream there or anything. We don't do the audio into it, but hey, it's there for you to commiserate about the quality and production value of the show. So I'm saying bye. I'll see you over on Discord. But we are going to shut down and reset, and the sentient AI is going to finish that sentence, maybe.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for RealityHacker. We'll have another episode of this for you next week, but stay tuned for the rest of our weekly shows.
Which is next? What?
Wanted, and then the Continuity Report.
Yep, so gadgets and gear, and then entertainment news. Woo! Who doesn't want a robot girlfriend?